Hello, today's Bible study comes from Luke chapter 9, verses 57 through 62, and it reads as follows. As they were walking along the road, a man said to him, "I will follow you wherever you go." Jesus replied, "Foxes have dens and birds have nests, but the Son of Man has no place to lay his head." He said to another man, "Follow me." But he replied, "Lord, first let me go and bury my father." Jesus said to him, "Let the dead bury their own dead, but you go and proclaim the kingdom of God." Still another said, "I will follow you, Lord, but first let me go back and say goodbye to my family." Jesus replied, "No one who puts a hand to the plow and looks back is fit for service in the kingdom of God." In these verses, we see that Jesus starts talking about what it is going to be like to follow him. As they were walking along the road, a man said to him, "I will follow you wherever you go." And Jesus replied to him, foxes got a place to go. Everything seems to have a place to go. Foxes have dens, the bird have nests, but the Son of Man doesn't even have a place to lay his head. Excuse me. And when Jesus came in this world, there was no place to lay his head. At this time, he was being rejected by people. And it was because of what was about to happen. And the Samaritans, who are usually accepting, um, didn't take him in. And they didn't take him in when he was headed to Jerusalem. They didn't receive him because Jesus' face was going to Jerusalem. He was headed to Jerusalem. This is a price that we have to understand, and this is a heavy price. He said to another man, "Follow me." But he replied, "Lord, first let me go and bury my father." There was nothing and there is nothing more important than following Christ. And his discipleship goes past our discipleship, even. I should say, goes past what's happening here. Our job is to spread the word, to all the potential followers, to the followers that are already there. Jesus is speaking to those, though, who are following him. These people are following, and they're followers of Jesus. And he's emphasizing to make his point. He's saying, let go of the past. Leave that stuff alone. Let the past be where the past may be. It will not get you to glory. Still another said, "I will follow you, Lord, but first let me go back and say goodbye to my family." Once again, you put something in front of the Lord, and he has already stated that there will be some dissension between you and family, or you and non-believers and believers, or you and the ways of the Lord and the ways of man. Let it be. Don't go back to that. And the last one in verse 62, when he says, Jesus replied, "No one who puts a hand to a plow and looks back is fit for service in the kingdom of God." If you are plowing, and I love it how he brings it into the agricultural way, and something that, these people were aware of. Well, as you're plowing, if you look behind you, you will swerve. You remember Lot's wife when she was told not to turn around and look back? She swerved. And what happened? Well, in this instance, when you look back, you swerve, so your pathway is not going straight. So anyone who has plowed field knows you have to watch carefully in front of you. in front of you to keep the line straight, or as they used to call them, furrows, to keep them straight. But if you do one of these and look back, and the disciples did exactly that in their despair and the confusion following the crucifixion. This was hard because the disciples now had to almost become nomads if they weren't nomads. They had no place to rest their head. They had to go from place to place. They had no building. They had to finally get together later on, but they had to walk like Jesus. And discipleship truly means living in ways that we might not otherwise live. See, when he tells us to live in the spirit, that's contrary to how we live in the flesh. Our flesh wins and our spirit loses. If our spirit wins and our flesh loses, and we give in to the Lord's ways. So Jesus is telling them all these things about knowing that his disciples will soon be doing exactly what he is telling them not to do after he's gone. Their lives will be radically different than they had imagined, because Jesus walked on the scene, told you to give up this and that, and you do it. And now you have to realize you left behind that stuff. So they will leave behind what they have known and done and go in a totally new direction. And without your leader there, don't look back, because you'll swerve. We all swerve. Jesus is talking here about their discipleship. He is telling them, your discipleship, the cost of following me is this, and you need to do it. We all need to do it. We all need to improve upon how we follow the Lord. There is nothing in front of God. If you look at everything we get, everything we do, it comes from God. So why would we put anything else in front of God? Keep your eyes forward so you can see how he is lighting your pathway, and follow him closely. Don't look back. We all got sins and transgressions and things that we used to do. And sometimes we might fall short because we dip back or turn around to it. But if you can and you call on him, fight through it. And it's hard. I didn't say it was easy. This road ain't an easy road. It got some bumps. It got some potholes. It got some rocks that's going to kick up on your windshield. It got everything on it. But stay on it. Because as those bumps keep going, as them potholes keep going, the road's going to get fixed. And it'll smooth out. And then the Lord will guide you if you want him to guide you. And then your discipleship will be straight. Amen.